everyone. Once again, let me get my chair. Once again, thank you very much for clicking on my video today. My name is Christine. Welcome to my channel, The Budgeting Baker. Today's video, now this is the third time I've recorded this, so bear with me. Today's video, as you can tell by the title, is not a cash stuffing. I wanted to take you through how I go about setting up my budgeting binder and my sinking funds for the upcoming 2024 year. I know that obviously I have new subscribers to my channel. Some of them may have just been starting their budgeting journey. And I know that looking at other people or watching other people's channels, looking at the comments, that there's a lot of people that ask, how do you know how much money to put in your sinking funds? You know, where did you get that binder from? So I'm going to show you how I go about doing it. Now, I'm going to put a disclaimer out there just to be on the safe side. I am not a financial advisor. What I'm going to show you right now is how I set up my own personal budget. If you opt to try this and it works for you, great. If it doesn't work for you, my only advice would be to you just have to continue to run through it until it works. That's the only thing that I can really tell you. I can't even tell you how many dozens and dozens of budgets I've been through until I finally decided to literally take a couple of months and figure out what's going to work for me. From the sheets that I set up, to the binder that I set up, to the way that I go about paying my bills, I couldn't adapt what I needed and what kept me interested to the way that other people were doing it. So I just decided to make my own. Now, the way that I budget is very common to other people, but the way that I go about putting it down on paper is my own. Okay, so let's get into this. First and foremost, I would appreciate, once again, subscribe, like, ring the notification bell. Maybe try to get through the end of this. Maybe a little bit on the long side. I'll try to make it shorter. But that always helps me in getting to my goal. And my goal for 2024 is to obviously get to 1,000 subscribers. So, you know what? We're just going to keep plugging away until we can really get there. So, but in the meantime, if I'm helping people, then that is an awesome feeling for me. Okay. So, this is my budgeting binder. And every once in a while, I'm just going to check to make sure that I'm in frame and you guys are being able to see what close up. I'll zoom in every now and then so that you guys can really see. So this is my budgeting binder. I get all of my personal everyday binders and my budgeting binder from the Happy Planner. Okay, if you go to happyplanner.com, you'll be able to see everything that they have. I like it because it makes it fun. It makes it fun. It's interesting to me. And I'm able to take bits and pieces. They call it Franken planning. You take the bits and pieces from one planner and you put them for another until you can put it together and make it your own, which is what I did here. So what you're seeing with these discs and this cover and these dividers, I kind of purchased separate binders and separate discs and stuff like that. Now, don't get me wrong, I use all of what is in here or what came with everything. But I Franken planned it to make it work for me, okay? Probably up here, I'll probably put 2024. I love the colorful discs. And this is a regular size. This is an 8.5 by 11. This is an 8.5 by 11. So regular pieces of paper do fit in this. Some of their planners come smaller. By the way, they are not sponsoring me. I just really like their products, so just thought I'd give them a shout out. Okay, so if you open up my front cover, I have already gone through and put together all of my months, January through December. Okay. Let's see. I think my sinking funds are still in here. Yep, they are. From the last time I tried to record this and realized that after looking back at it that, yeah, that's not going to work. So, okay. You can do it, right? That's what I always say. You can do it. So when you open up month to month, the first thing for me is a blank calendar. Now, these little dates in these stickers, I put these down. It comes with just a blank calendar that you can make whatever you want. I do have sticker books because I like playing with stickers, and we did it as a kid, so why not do it now? So these are some of the Happy Planner sticker books. These are their budgeting line. So you can go through, you can date this, you can do whatever you want. But I like this as kind of a catch-all. I can put my pay dates in here. I can put any upcoming holidays, any events that might be coming up, anything. It's just kind of my overview of what the month is going to look like. Now on this page, this is just a notes page, is all that it really is. Some notes, checklist, my monthly goals, that type of thing. Oh, I'm sorry. Something was blowing around in the wind outside and it caught my eye out the window. So this is just kind of a notes page. Okay. And then obviously this is blank where I put in the paper, the forms that I have created. So anyway, so the forms I am about to show you, I put together on Excel. I put them together 5 years ago when I first started cash budgeting, because back then I was very broke. I couldn't afford, I couldn't afford much. I barely was able to afford my first planner, but I liked doing it in Excel because I could make it my own. I put in the columns and the titles that I needed to keep track of. And when I was looking at other people's, it didn't have everything that I needed, which is why I made it up on Excel. I keep the spreadsheet on my desktop. And if at any particular point I need to add or take away from it, it's very, very easy for me to do that. So I'll put my planner to the side for now. And these here are my paycheck bill tracker. I've got a paycheck bill tracker. I've got a checking account running total. I've got a cash envelope breakdown, and I made myself some teller slips. Now, again, if you want to support other Etsy shops and get from them, if you find one that is simple, if this is too complicated or it's got too much in it, too much information, whatever the situation, you just got to find one that's really, really going to work for you. So I'm going to zoom you in a little bit here so that you can see kind of what my headings are. Okay. All right. So at the very top here, I've got my paycheck date. So this is obviously the date this is the date that the money hits my account. I get paid every 2 weeks. I get paid every other Thursday. The income amount, which obviously will be my, the amount that hits my checking account. I've got my monthly bill, which is the name of my bill, my budgeted amount, the actual amount that I paid, the date that it's due, how I paid it, and I'll go into that, an E or a C, either I paid it by my envelope or I paid it out of my checking account. Is it half? Is it half the bill or is it the full bill? And then at the end of the month, I go through and I make sure that everything cleared my account. Okay, that's for my bills. Now down here, I've got a separate little one. This is for food, gas, everyday miscellaneous, and my pet. And then over here, I do little decorations and little notes that I may have made for myself or just whatever. I had my sinking funds over here in this section, but there weren't enough because I have a lot of sinking funds. So I decided to just take out the sinking fund section and just keep that on my on my checking account information. So, okay, I'm going to kind of do like a kind of little demonstration here as to how I go about filling this out. So I'm going to zoom you in just a little bit more so that you guys can see that. Okay. All right. So monthly bill. So my next pay date is 1/4/24. Okay. That's the next time I get paid. My income amount, well, I'll keep that personal as a lot of us budgeters like to, but I'll use a fictitious number. Let's just say $1,000. Now this is my income amount for this pay period. Not for the month. This is for this pay period. Okay. So let's take my daughter's car payment. Okay. So I put in Ford. Okay. My budgeted amount for her car payment is $400 a month. That's what I have that's what I have set up in my budget to make her car payment. And I know, it's almost done. We got her a new car when she went off to college. She needed something safe to drive back and forth from Arizona in, and we got a good deal on it. So, and then plus when the time comes and she becomes a big time FBI agent, she will be taking care of me and repaying me all this money. Ha ha. So anyway, okay. So my actual amount is going to be $200. Why? What I do on my pay periods is I take every single one of my bills and I cut them in half. Whatever my budgeted amount is, I only pay half of that. So I pay half of them in one paycheck and the other half in another. So at the end of the month or the end of that pay period, I know exactly how much my monthly bills are going to be between both checks. So 9 times out of 10, unless there's something that comes up, my monthly bills are the same amount in each one of my pay periods. That works better for me. I like to know how much my bills are going to be. Okay. So now, due date. I pay my bills. Okay. I'm going to take that back. I don't pay my bills. I budget my bills 1 month in advance. So what I'm doing right now in December is actually my bills for January. What I do in January is actually my bills for for February. So the due date on this one is 2/6/24. Okay. How did I pay it? Did I pay it in cash? Did I pay it online? Is it an auto draft? How is this bill paid? So this one I paid online. Did I pay it out of my envelope or did I pay it out of my checking account? So I pay this one out of my checking account. And because this is the first pay period in the month, this is only half. At the end of the month, when I go to kind of just do a quick review out of my checking account, although I check it all the time, I can either mark off, yes, this was cleared. No, there was, for some reason, it took a long time, whatever. Yes, it cleared. No, it didn't. I hope you guys can see that. Okay, good. So the other flip side to that, let's take my trash bill. My trash bill, I pay in cash. I am budgeted $22 a month, which is $11 per pay period. This is due on the 15th of the month. Okay, so this would be due on 2/15. How did I pay this? I paid this in cash. My local trash company doesn't have an online presence or a way to pay the bill online. So I take my cash, I just stop by the office, drop it off to her, and we're all good. So this is paid out of my envelope rather than my checking account. Okay. And then this will be half. And then once I pay her, that I mark it off that it's cleared. Does that make sense to everybody? So at the end of this pay period, the amount in bills that I have listed here should be the same in my next pay period, unless something comes up. Is it a perfect system? No. Is it right about 90% of the time? Yes. Okay. Now, I move down here. Let me make sure that you guys can see this. Okay. So this here is some of my, so these are kind of set. These are set. My bills are what is due every single month. So this section right here is food, gas, everyday, miscellaneous, pet. These kind of vary a little bit. Or I can make them variable if I really wanted to. So again, how much do I budget for food? $200. So it's $100 per pay period. No, I take that back. It's $400 a month, so it's $200 per pay period. But because I take this one step further. But because I get paid on a bi-weekly basis, I have to budget $200 in that pay period to get me through $100 a week. So this one I drill down, and if you watch my cash stuffing videos, you can see how I do that. So this section right here, I can play with a little bit to see if I need. Now this section over here is blank. I make notes in here, something that's coming up, something that is, I don't know, just whatever information I need to. This is where my sinking funds used to be, but they got too long because I have a lot of binders. So now I just do my sinking funds in my checking account section. So this is, I just kind of made that a little note section. So I hope that makes sense to everybody as to how I go about setting up my budget. So I get paid every other week. I take my bill and I cut it in half. So on the 18th of January, the amount of my bills that totals, whatever the total amount of my bills, will be the same in this period, and it'll be the same in next pay period. So this is kind of my overall my paycheck bill tracker. Now, on my next sheet, this is kind of my checking account running total. So let's say my check is $1,000. So I put my paycheck amount down on there, and I'm going to put in my daughter's card payment, which is Ford. I pay $200 this month or this pay period, so my balance will be $100. So this is kind of just a check register just to make sure that I'm staying obviously within the amount that I'm budgeted. Okay. My next one is my cash envelope breakdown. So this one, and most people who cash budget kind of do the same thing. So this will be the information that I will take to the bank to give to the teller so I know how much denominations I need in cash. So anything on here is cash only. So this would be my food. So for this pay period, I am budgeting $200 for food. One for 1 week and another for another week. So food, I'm going to need two $100 bills. My trash bill is $11 for this pay period. So I put in a 1 and a 10 because that's $11. So at the end, I go down, I total up, and then I total up how much money I'm going to need to take out of the bank to be able to stuff my cash envelopes. And then I went through and I made this teller sheet, and I just cut this out. So if I need 5 $1 bills, that'll be $5. If I need 5 $5 bills, that'll be $25. So I cut this out. I give this to the teller, and she gives me back the denominations that I need so that I know how much to put in my sinking funds. And these two are pretty common in the cash stuffing world for anybody that is doing cash stuffing. This is the way most of them. Now, some people just make change amongst their envelopes if they need it. To me, this just kind of works out better. It's just not so confusing. I'm not jostling so much money between envelopes, and because you know me, a couple of the brain cells are going. So my envelopes would be all screwed up by the time that was done. So anyway, so this is how I go about budgeting out my paychecks. So I know how much money I'm paying, how much my variable kind is. I take this information, I put it in my check register. So obviously I'm not going to overdraw my account. And this includes sinking funds. This includes everything. I take that information and I put it into my cash envelope breakdown so I know how much money to get out of the bank. I give this to my teller. I come back and I do my filming. So I actually have per pay period, I actually have 4 sheets that go into my binder. Let me make sure that you guys can see this. Okay. So there's my checking account, which is like a register. Here's my cash envelopes. And then I made this, which I go about taking to the bank. So every other Thursday, and usually on my off pay weeks, I'll just give this a quick glance. I'll go into my checking account, has all my stuff cleared, my number still matching. And usually on those off pay times, I'm setting up for the next month. Okay. So this goes in my binder like this. This is a disc bound. So this goes in like that. Okay. And this is how I go about every single month setting up how I actually do my budget. Now, sinking funds. Let me make sure I'm in frame. I may zoom in just a little bit. Okay, so sinking funds. This is how I go about setting up or determining how much money go into my sinking funds. Let's take birthdays. Okay, let's take birthdays, for instance. So, my husband's birthday is in February. I start cash stuffing all of my sinking funds in January. Okay? My husband's birthday is in February. He, between January 1st and the time of his birthday, I get 3 paychecks. My budget for him is $100. I divide that by 3 paychecks. So in my first 3 paychecks of the year, I have to budget $33 per pay period. Okay, I hope that makes sense. When his birthday is over, I no longer stuff this envelope. I take this $33 and I will either put it into a savings challenge or I may put it into a Christmas fund, something that's due way towards the end of the year. Okay, so at the very beginning, maybe for the month of January and February, or just January, I may not be putting a whole lot of money in my Christmas fund because I don't make enough money to be able to fund all of these every single pay period. So I kind of have to play a little bit of a juggling game. Okay, let's take Christmas, for instance. So for Christmas, I budget $250 per person. Well, Gia and Josh, my daughter and her husband, I do $250 per the couple. So take $250 towards the end of November, which is like 22 paychecks or 24 paychecks or whatever it is. It ends up being $12 per paycheck. I can do $12. $12 for me is a couple of Dr. Peppers in a couple of days. I can do that. My daughter's Gia's birthday is in October. I budget $100 for her. So it's $5 per pay period. I would much rather handle $5 than have to come up with an entire $100 in the month of October. I hope that makes sense to everybody. So whatever my budget is, now the big thing for this is to sit down at the beginning of the year and figure out your budget. How much do you plan on budgeting for that specific event or that specific sinking fund? That was the hard one for me. And sticking to it. That was the even harder one for me. But now it's second nature. Okay? Now it's second nature for me. $100 for your birthday? That's plenty of money. $250 for Christmas? That's plenty of money. You get creative. You hit your sales during the year. You make it work. Okay. Now, these are pretty easy because these amounts, I know how much I'm budgeting. Let's take vacations, for example. I've got $500 for vacation. Do I know that vacation is really going to be only $500? No, I don't, to be honest with you. I really don't. I don't know how much. I don't even know if I'm taking a vacation next year or not. I have no idea how much it's going to be. So I just figured, let's just start with $500. Let's just start and see what happens. So roughly between $50 and $55 per pay period needs to go into my vacation fund. Now, once we decide, what are we doing? How much is it going to cost? What am I paying for? What are you paying for? I can add or take away money. I don't even know if we're going on a vacation next year. We're doing an extreme amount of home renovations. Are we going to be able to afford it? I have no idea. I can add or take away from vacations. So there are certain budgeted amounts that I'm just putting in just as a base, just as something to go off of. It's going to be a variable amount. I don't know yet. Let's see, what else? Holidays, I'm pretty much set on. Okay, car maintenance. I'd like to have $500 in my car maintenance fund. Will I get there? I don't know. I get an oil change every couple months. So in my everyday binder, I have money that is constantly coming in and going out. Clothes. I'd like to have $200 in there. That's my end goal. But I know that every couple of months I'm spending $100 on new sneakers. Do you see what I'm saying? So my everyday binder, money is constantly coming in and going out. But at least I put something in there to, you know what I mean, to kind of shoot for. Now, on my back page, I have my monthly bills. Now, these are the bills that I pay in cash. Now, my home loan payments, this is more of like an emergency type fund. I want to have $500 put away, which I already do. Actually, I'd like to do $1,000, and I'm getting there. Just in case I should go out on disability, something else should happen, I have a backup to be able to make that payment. Right now, I make bi-weekly payments on that loan. This is more of just an emergency. But trash, water, and prescriptions, I all pay in cash. So anything that's on this sheet is all what I pay in cash. This is all my cash flow, so to speak. So what I do every single time I sit down and I get budgeted, or I do my budget, as you can see all the way at the top, I've got January through December. So on my first pay period, okay, so I put dog food in. We're good there. Dog grooming. We're good there. Date night. Did I put anything on the first one? Nah, we just went on a date night. Don't really need to put any money in it, so I'll put an X there. X means I didn't put any money in for that particular pay period. And it's just my check and balance of on a monthly basis. What did I do? What am I reaching all of what I want to? I can hit right now, I can probably hit about 85% of these, every single pay period. Is it perfect every single time? No. Heck no. Am I moving money around every single week? Heck yeah. Because once Bruce's birthday was over and Valentine's Day is over, I've got $58 right there to play with. So that $58 is probably going to go into Christmas, or some of my miscellaneous holidays, my miscellaneous Thanksgiving. So yes, I play with it. But once January and February is over, then I don't put any more money into that sinking fund. Once Valentine's Day is over in February, I don't put any more money into that sinking fund. I do it the next January. Once Mother's Day, Father's Day. So at the end of the year, if you've been watching probably in the last 3 months or so, you see right now I am putting a lot of money into my savings challenges because I'm not putting any more money. My birthdays are done for the year. So all of this money can now go into savings challenges. You'll notice January, February, March, April, probably into May, I'm doing some savings challenges, but not a whole lot because my money needs to go here. So I have the same amount of money, but how I move it around during the course of the year depends on this. Now, some people may be looking at this video going, oh my God, that sounds like a frigging headache. To some people it is. To me, I make it work. I know exactly where my money is going. I know where it is, and I know that when the time comes and I need $100 for Callie's birthday, that money is there. I'm not stressing about trying to figure out where that $100 is going to come from. I know that come August, when my car registration, which is $260 is due, which is $14 a paycheck, I know that $260 is going to be there. That is what's taking my stress away. This is what wasn't working for me, trying to come up with that amount of money in a month. This is why this works for me, because I can do all of these little tiny amounts. I can carve out $5 for Gia's birthday out of my food money if I really, really needed to. I can clip a couple of coupons. I can turn around and say, you know what? I really don't need to buy that. I hope that makes sense to everybody. Some people are okay with just putting their, my husband and I budget extremely different. He lumps all his money in his checking account. When something comes up, he takes it out and it's done. We split our bills. I'm responsible for all of this. Okay. Electric bill, trash bill, water bill, my daughter's car payment. He pays for cell phone, car insurance, medical insurance. He is the bulk of the saver. He does he does most of the savings. He doesn't know how to do this. This boggles his mind. He has no idea how to do this. This would drive him insane. For me, having thousands and thousands of dollars just sitting in a checking account, my debit card would just be going. And that's the reason why I couldn't budget all of these years. I can't do that. I need to know where my money goes. So we make it work. So when the time came and we are now having our kitchen renovated, he has the bulk of that money sitting in his savings account, just sitting there. Oh yeah, I can pay for that. That's not a problem. Now, if something comes up with our dog, I can say, honey, I need $200 for a vet visit. I don't have enough money in my envelope. Oh, okay, here you go, hon. Fine with me. We help each other, without a doubt. He knows I take care of everybody's birthday. He knows I take care of all the holidays. He knows I take care of my own car. He knows I take care of Callie's car payment. But if I should ever need money, dog emergency, help with vacation, he does a lot of the date night paying, anything along those lines. He's got it covered. Fine. What do you need? But moving money around this way is boggling to him. Moving money around this way makes perfect sense to me. So we making it work. We just make it work. It just works for our household. So for a very, very long time, I didn't communicate with my husband about bills. I was very ashamed. I'll be very honest with you. I was very, very ashamed because I didn't know how to make it work. And I didn't know how to do it the traditional way. So I just didn't talk about it. Bills got behind. It was a mess. I'm not. We're lucky we're still together. How he tolerated it, I have no idea. Now we talk about it all the time. Now I sit with him and say, this is what I have. And I'm not ashamed of it. I am not ashamed to tell him that all my crap is in cash. He's amazed. He's amazed at what I can do with this. Amazed. Now we have open communication line about money. Before, I couldn't talk to him about it because I didn't understand it when he tried to explain it to me. I had to figure it out for myself, and I did. So anyway, so this page sits in the front of my binder. Let me make sure that I'm good here. So this page sits in the front of every month in my binder as my check and balance, that I'm making sure that I'm keeping track of what I need. And this is how I do it. This is how I've made it work for me. This took me 30 years to figure out. Seriously. It took me 30 years to figure this out. But now I'm proud of it. Now I enjoy sitting down and doing my bills. Like today, got up, had my coffee, sat down with my binder. Okay, what do we got going on? My credit score has gone through the roof. I mean, we got approved for a huge unsecured credit personal loan to pay for everything in our house. I mean, this took me 30 years. I'm glad I found out about it now before it's too late. I'm socking away money for retirement, so hopefully cross your fingers that will happen sometime in my future. For a long time, I felt very guilty because I didn't figure this out earlier. Now it's kind of my mission to pass on what I know so the next generation can figure it out. I pass this information on. My oldest daughter has always been very, very good with money. She looked at us and it's like, I ain't doing that shit. There ain't no way. Her and her husband are very, very good with their money. My youngest daughter, I had to teach this to, but she is also very, very good with her money. She saw the struggles that we went through. I've gone through this cash budgeting with her before. She's more of an online person, but she does do her presence in cash also. Whatever. I just want to make sure that your bills are paid on time. I mean, that's and that you've got enough money to enjoy life. And that's what we're kind of doing now, where I'm finally able to enjoy life. And I don't mind sitting down now and doing my bills. I'm not afraid of it. I don't avoid it. I'm actually proud when I sit down and I pay my bills. And yeah, that's the way it's done. That's how I set up my sinking funds. That's how I set up my bills every year. And I just take it on a month-to-month basis. And as long as I still have brain cells in my head that work, I'll continue to do this all the way up through our Social Security. After the dementia sets in, I'll hand it to my kids and be like, here, this is my screwed up way of paying my bills. They're going to be like, Mom, what the hell? I can't wait for that day. Oh my God, I can't wait for that day. They're going to put me in the nursing home and they're going to come back through the house and have to clean up my bills and stuff. What the hell is she doing? What the hell is all this? I can see it now. It's going to be the funniest thing ever. Oh my God, it's going to be hysterical. I'm going to boggle their mind. They know that I do this, but they've never seen me do it. So anyway, it's just going to be hysterical.